you, Lagos. Thank you very much for joining us. It's now time to talk sports inside of the locker room with Tega. Tega Supreme is our handle on Twitter.
Good morning, Lagos.
Good morning, Tega. Please try that again.
Good morning, Lagos.
Okay, I was assuming it was the code. Good morning, Tega. Thank you so very much for joining us as always with the I, Tega with the Luke. Lagos, join Ayo, Kayode, and myself, Valentine, for the locker room this morning, sending your messages through WhatsApp.
WhatsApp number 0809-444-0981.
And ladies, you can reach out to us as well on Twitter where it's Smooth91FM. Don't forget to use the hashtag LockerRoom981, and there are 2 R's in Locker Room. So please use that hashtag.
All right, first story is a rather sad one. Nigerian footballer Ahmed Musa's mother passed yesterday, Thursday, the 24th of January 2019. Her death was announced by the footballer himself on his Twitter page just minutes before this news got to us. Now, sharing the news with his followers on the micro-blogging platform, Musa wrote that he was feeling really sad. He shared, and I quote, "What a sad day of my life. Just lost my mom."
Yeah, that's so sad. But I think, let's put it this way: she has raised a son whom she's seen grow to become the man he has become, the national hero, doing well for himself, living his dreams, and just she's enjoying this. She's seeing her children's children. I think she has 3 grandchildren now from Musa. So she's kind of lived a full life, but it's a sad one for Ahmed Musa. He was obviously very close to his mom. I remember when he opened one of his projects earlier in the year, and it was his mother that was the one that was launching it.
Oh.
So
They're pretty close.
yeah, they're pretty close, but sad loss. Hopefully he has we pray that he has the grace to bear with us.
Right. Our heartfelt condolences to Ahmed Musa. Moving away from that story, Mikel remains Super Eagles captain until dash says Rohr. The Super Eagles coach, again Rohr, says that the status quo still remain in the national team over the captainship, adding that Mikel still leads the team until he makes a formal request that he wants to leave. He said, and I quote, "We're very happy with the news about Mikel joining Middlesbrough because it has been a long time he played last with the team. But he is a player who really wants to play for the team. He wishes to return to Europe to be with his family and find a good club, which he has done. Right now, he needs more time to be back in the team because we have yet to see him after the World Cup. We want him to come back to the national team like other players. If he's playing well with his new team, he stands a chance of coming back to us, but he has not told me he'll quit the team. He remains the captain of the team till he says otherwise. We will be happy to have him back for his experience and the coach."
Yes, I think at the end of the day, he hasn't said he was going to leave. Like Moses said, he was going to leave to focus on his club. So he's left. He's focused on Fenerbahce. So that's where he is right now. I guess his focus took him out of England. But Mikel hasn't said anything about retiring from the national team. So him moving to Middlesbrough, like I said, when it was first announced that there was an interest, it's a good thing. So he's back into competition. He hopes to see a little more game time, get a few good games under his belt, get back into real competition, and that could be very useful for the team. So I'm with Gunnar Rohr. If he says he's available, then pick him.
These are not still early days though. I mean, it was announced this week
Yeah.
that he was joining Middlesbrough. So has he had enough time to perhaps check test the waters, check his surroundings, and see if he still wants to play for the national team?
He's played in England for years. It's Middlesbrough that is because he played when there was real competition. Trust me, Middlesbrough is not it. He obviously does not want to. If he wanted to retire, he would have just said, "I'm retiring." But he still wants to leave his options open.
Yeah.
So we're not saying categorically that the very next game he'll be back. But since as long as that door is open, there's no need to, like Nadal says, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Speaking about Nadal, let's talk about his victory now. He says here, Rafael Nadal said that he has surprised himself with an outstanding level of tennis that he has played this year at the Australian Open after crushing Stefanos Tsitsipas in the semi-final on Thursday. a quote here says, "It's not easy to be back after 4 months, 5 months, and play the way I played." He said after ongoing ankle surgery, his extended off-season. Tega, what do you think?
Too much drama about it. Somebody came back after a few months and won the Australian Open back to back, and the person is older. Calm down, Nadal. It's not. He's not doing anything new or anything impossible. Federer did it two years in a row, so he should be all right. But what it is he's able to move well. That was great to see. Like I said, this game was always going to be, this particular setup was always going to be tough for Tsitsipas, because unlike Roger Federer, Nadal is a lot more tenacious and he is a very good baseline player. So the first few games, there were a couple of rallies. One of them, Tsitsipas won the first one, and so he felt like, okay, I can go with this. Then he started to notice that Nadal is not an easy person to play rallies with, and I guess that's when he started to vary his shots a bit too much, and he started making a lot of unforced errors. The third set was 6-love. That's how dominant Nadal was in that game. So you look at the result and say it was an easy game. It really wasn't. It was two different players outthinking each other, because they're a bit more similar when it came to how they played in the baseline. So I think Tsitsipas blinked a little too early, because after he noticed that Nadal was ready to run a marathon, he now tried to shorten each point, and that put him in a lot of trouble. So yes, that game against Nadal was a learning curve for him on how he can switch things around. But Nadal looking strong and going on. I think, if you ask me, Novak Djokovic is playing Lucas Pouille. I think he's going to either be facing Novak Djokovic, which means that the finals will be a totally different kettle of fish. I've seen them in this final before, where they played for 4 hours, and at the end of the finals, neither one of them could stand up. They had to bring chairs for them for the medal presentation. It's looking like it might be that kind of final again if both of them meet.
But if you had to call it, who would you?
I don't want to call.
Who's your money on?
That's why I don't bet. I don't bet.
Very apt answer.
Yeah, because if you ask me, Djokovic looks like he would win. If you ask me head to head, Djokovic looks like he'll win. But that's not to also say that doesn't have a chance in it. So.
But you kind of called it, so you know it's Djokovic.
No, it's not Djokovic for me. It's anybody.
Chimabi Victor from Alaba International sent in a message on WhatsApp. He says, "Tega, all I want from you this morning is to give your support to my own Nadal and my darling Naomi Osaka as they prepare to win the Australian Open." And then he adds, "We, the listeners of Smooth FM and Locker Room, commensurate one of our heroes, Ahmed Musa. May the good Lord give him and his family the fortitude to bear the loss."
Amen.
He also adds, Rohr should stop telling us what we already know. Even if my little niece knows that Mikel is still the captain of Super Eagles of Nigeria. So this is not news at all. Alright, so Emmanuel from Yaba sent in this one.
It says, all our major players playing in second-class clubs, we should be worried. Emmanuel, that's not bad. Everyone is celebrating. But we're celebrating. Mikel is not a young. He's not a
spring chicken.
Yeah, he's not a spring. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Spring chicken. We should celebrate that. Do you think he's going to be another FC Prince? What's that name? No,
Kevin Prince Boateng.
If not that he wanted to move closer to his family, I'd say there are bigger options, better options in Europe. But hey,
better options where? Who wanted him? Who wanted him?
Is
he not there?
Maybe Portugal.
If
going to pay tax.
It should go to Portugal. So.
There are clubs in Spain that will probably take him.
Which one? Which one approached him?
I'm not his.
You are going to be agreeing to phantom clubs? There's a real club on the table saying come to us, and there are phantom clubs that you imagine.
No, I think he made a good choice.
He made the only choice that was available. Let's not call it as if people really wanted him. He made the only choice that was available.
All right, still on WhatsApp. Don't forget you can send your messages to 0809-444-0981. Ola here is saying Tsitsipas fell hand big time. For all the great matches he's won this tournament, he couldn't even push it to the 4th set. Sure. Anyway,
sure.
He said sure.
I said sure. Oh, wow.
Actually, I said it and I put the after sure. Anyway, okay, sure. Anyway, looks like a Nadal Djokovic final. It'll be like that time they played over 2 days.
Yeah.
Like
and we move. Chiwinasi says, well, there will be no better final than Nadal and Novak finals. Well, but honestly, Nadal should win. He's the only player yet to lose a set in this competition. He's hot right now.
Okay.
Because what's hot is we'll have to pay bills. We'll be back after this. You're listening to The Locker Room. It's part of Smooth Breakfast on Smooth 98.1.
No, I'm sure Mikel was going to get a team like
I said nobody even approached him. You are talking as if nobody called his name.
He really
I
tried.
don't believe that.
No,
Middlesbrough is a
next
championship
on our
team.
list.
So
Championship
it's an
team.
English
Yes,
team.
it's an
That means there are any
English
pounds there.
team.
If
Yeah.
you're
And that
playing in
means
Nigeria, it will be an NNL team.
No, you can
It is
never
not the same
compare.
certification.
You can't compare. They are
It is not the same.
level.
Your Nigerian MPFL is not
It's
of
like-
the same
it's like
caliber.
our-
It's like the third
Yeah.
division.
No,
No,
for
babe.
him to play
How
in
many of us
England,
have
Nobody called him. Don't be
it's
saying as if people were hustling
it's
him left, right, and
better
center.
than-
Nobody was hustling
better
him.
than
You
better
can't
than-
tell somebody what they
Yes,
don't want to buy.
yes.
Who is he?
And I'm actually sure that the fact that he's in Middlesbrough will also increase his chances of remaining captain.
So
in
it could also be
Nigeria.
who are
He
your
possibly was
opponents?
on his way
If
out.
he was playing for Sevilla, or if he was playing for, let me see, Ligan itself, he would still be captain of Nigeria.
He would.
He would still be captain of Nigeria.
Well, he's getting older. And he's getting to the point whereby
Until he retires or he fights with the powers that be, he'll be captain of Nigeria. Leave that matter. Even in China, he's still
Around
like that.
technology, around the water, around waste
no,
management,
so two things
around
that are doing that
entertainment.
we have got to
Vote
make a
for
lot of
Jimmy
money.
Agbaje and
So maybe
Dennis
go for
Sibisa.
one.
How much you got paid? Whether he
Because
took
of
a
your
pay cut.
chance.
But working in England is different from working outside. It's as long as you're some people's dream is just let me just play in England anywhere they put me. Even if they put me in let me see.
You don't understand.
One,
You don't understand what visibility
Ashley
does.
Young.
yes.
There's no site
Yeah.
in China football,
Yeah.
in Chinese football
Yeah.
now, apart from in Asia. Who is watching them? Have you seen the Chinese football game?
Yeah.
I have to
None
go.
of us has
I have
seen
to go out of my way to use to watch it. Let's leave it at that. I want everybody to visit me now. You're not telling me. Please. I'm the only person who wake up now. I follow.
This is our own Boateng moment. It's not
Right.
Barcelona, but it's okay for us.
That Boateng thing, yeah. I swear, I'm sure I'm going to wake up one day and it's also a dream. It's not one. It's not. Wait, it's not one season they used to give them. Then Paulino do one season, and then he left. It's one season.
In fact, he just wants to play one season himself. He's not pushing for two.
So that is one.
He will play 10 if they give him, but
on
he only has
in
one.
his lifetime on his Wikipedia page. It will have
On his
Former Barcelona
resume,
player.
in the
Yes.
history books,
on my
he will tell his
Barcelona
children, "I
player.
played for Barcelona, and there's nothing the children can do about it."
Mike Sarah, Studios Live. Glad to have you back with us. You're listening.
I work. I need calm, synergy to the rhythm of my hands while I design, like a friend or a muse, helping to set the
Never
mood
mind.
that fuels my
Two
fire.
lines.
It's simple. If music is the food of the soul, then Smooth FM is my favorite diner. My station
sorry, I
is
swore.
constantly
It
inspired.
happens sometimes. But
I'm
not on
Lola,
radio.
and this is my radio.
It's your Love Music, Love Life radio station. This is Smooth 98.1. Still sharing more sports stories inside of the locker room here with Tega Supreme. Now let's move on to talk about Mauricio Pochettino. He has admitted that the lottery of penalties provided a crumb of comfort after Tottenham missed out on the place at the Carabao Cup final in Chelsea. In his words, he says, "I'm disappointed to lose in that way. It can happen. We won at Wembley. They beat us there. Over 180 minutes, and it was 2-2. It was a draw. I prefer to lose on penalties. In the second half, we played so well and dominated and had chances. Chelsea would have been disappointed at Wembley. That's football. We fought and were brave and played really well until we conceded. The game was under control. It was one of the best games we played until that point." Such a good spirit.
He always says that every time they lose. Why are you always celebrating losses? This guy likes to lose.
It's motivational speech. Like
He just rather lose.
do not be down after this. It was 2-2.
It's just he look, this guy. I don't know how else to say this thing. That this guy. Are you sure Manchester United? Are you sure you still want him? There's no need for you to say you want a guy that doesn't seem to win. But I think on the one hand, the rules of the Carabao Cup also helped. because there's no such thing as a way goal rule.
Mm.
So that advantage doesn't count or didn't count. And if and Tottenham already knew the rules going in, so they knew they either had to win here or draw here, or win the penalty shootout. But for me, what was shocking, they scored only 2 penalties, like 1-2. That's it. They lost 4-2 on penalty, 1-2. That's it. Professional footballers, 1-2. Collecting money every weekend, 1-2.
Stop rubbing
I'm sorry. There's no
Seriously, Robbie.
there's no nice way to put it. I mean, they showed a good display because when the match started, it did look like Tottenham were completely overwhelmed, outplayed and outpassed without Harry Kane and Son and Dele Alli. They didn't look the same. And so Chelsea goes 2 goals up, and it looked like Chelsea were going to score more goals. They had that look around their game. They were playing very well, they were pushing very hard. But second half, a different Tottenham Hotspur came out. It was almost as if they told themselves, look, we're already 2 goals down. What's the worst that can happen? And so they pushed. They did get 1 goal back in, but they just could never get the equalizer. And so on that note, I'll say yes, they did try well. But when you have lost a bit too much, like Pochettino, and every time he loses, he comes to say that's the best game he's played in a while. I'm just disappointed. He said that against Manchester United. He said that against Arsenal.
He's a good sportsman.
It's no.
He
What
says
it is
the
that
glass
he's
half
comfortable losing. That's what it is. He's found a sweet way to lose. You shouldn't. As a coach that people are saying is one of the best, even if I know you're not. Shouldn't.
Charles Chidoze on Twitter says, Tega, you can't be so sure about these things. I heard Mikel was approached by Barcelona, but he turned down the offer.
Nice one.
Well, he turned down the offer because, just as Neymar, he did not want to stay under the shadow of Messi.
Nice one, nice
He
one.
ends by saying thank you and gives a tongue out emoji.
This is Pochettino's protege. Always saying, I mean, I love his positivity,
That's
positive
right.
spirit, speaking positive and even things that are not as though they were.
During Talabi, taking it to church, I like it. During Talabi says, Mikel had options but chose the English club principally because he wanted to be close to his family and gain promotion with his club. Please listen to him during his presentation. Okay.
Story. Which options?
Alright, let me bring you another story, another sporting story. Now, Paul Pogba could captain Manchester United in the future, says Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Solskjaer, thank you very much. I looked at Tega for approval. But yeah, Ole Gunnar says Paul Pogba possesses all the qualities needed to captain Manchester United. Says definitely, yeah, because I know the boy from before and he is a leader. He's a character. He influences people, and you've seen the videos from France. And he cares, and he really wants to be successful. He said a lot of other things, but all he's saying is he is captain.
Yes, and so the guy that Jose Mourinho takes the armband from, Solskjaer is saying, I mean, he could make a good captain, and he's not lying, but he also quantified it. When he's doing good, he can be a good person. The thing about Paul Pogba is he's quite an erratic character. So yes, he can play well. And captaining a team is not just about yelling at people or the talent you have. It's about your own discipline and your own consistency. He has erratic moments. There's sometimes he just brings out his flamboyance, and there are other times he focuses on the job that's at hand. And so yes, he looks like a captain material only if he can keep his head. On the other hand, what's important for Solskjaer today is the matchup against Arsenal in the FA Cup. And so the good news again for Solskjaer is that he's won how many games now? 7 games in a row. Yeah, 7 games in a row, and so they are on a roll now. They are in the momentum. They are riding a wave. On the flip side, Arsenal have their up and down moments.
Yeah.
Nigeria power supply. So sometimes they are really good, and other times they are really bad. But they've come up with some shock results, like when they played against Tottenham and nobody thought they were going to win, and they came from, I think it was 2 goals down to win 4-2. And then the game against Chelsea, also we can say those 2 teams capitulated. But whatever happens is that Arsenal took advantage of whatever mistakes and errors and character failures that those 2 teams showed up, and so they do have their moments. It's not like Arsenal is going to be completely whitewashed in this FA Cup. It's just that if you looking at the form of both teams coming into this game, you'd say Manchester United have the advantage. So Arsenal have to try and revive their FA Cup magic to try and get this win on the Friday. It makes it sad that number one is on the Friday. I don't think a lot of teams like to play on the Friday. They don't even like early kickoff on Saturday. You're not talking on Friday night. Everybody just is really not a it's not good timing for them. So they have to tap back in, and then they have to play a big team like that. For both teams, it's going to be a struggle. But the advantage seems to be with Manchester United, and so let's see how it goes at the end of the night.
Ayo has a message in here, not this Ayo here, but another Ayo. They said Tega hedging her bets. Oh, she doesn't bet, so may the best man win. Good job, guys. And also here sends in this message. It says Saudi Arabia of all places. Amen. And then we have a message from Sheriff Oluwaleke Akimbi from Lagos Island.
He says, for me, Pochettino is just making excuses. I think he's allergic to trophies.
Oh, wow.
Could be.
Okay.
Diane from Gambia. Oh hi Diane. All I want is that Tottenham are just serial chokers. See how Sarri will choke in the finals. Thank goodness we got a winner in Unai. Hopefully he'll win or something.
Okay.
So you think that Unai is a better anyway tonight we tell. Let me jump to
Unai has Sevilla, so we see.
He ended with a hashtag. He said, "Come on, you guys." Okay.
So let's talk about Messi and Barcelona. So Lionel Messi being rested was not the reason why Barcelona slipped to a 2-0 loss away to Sevilla in Wednesday's Copa del Rey quarterfinal first leg, says Luis Suarez. A quote here says, Leo was not in other games and we took over the responsibility of the team and we took the games forward. Suarez said, today was not an excuse. I hope Leo is in the second leg because it does make a difference.
Of course it does make a difference. I mean, like I said, without Messi, there is no... It's not that there's no focus, and that's where the problem is. There's no strategy, there's no structure, there's no focus. So the question is, what is Valverde doing as a coach? What is his game plan? Is it just picking players and throwing them on the pitch and telling them whatever you do will be fine? Because this now gets tougher. Against Leganes was the same thing, and then Messi plays second leg, they qualify, but Sevilla is a different team from Leganes, and this is a cup competition. Sevilla is good at cup competitions. They may not be very good at the league because that's a marathon. But when it comes to cup competitions, you get your victory almost immediately. They know how to show up, and they did show up. They're 2 goals up. Barcelona didn't get an away goal. All they needed to do was fight for that one away goal. With the Copa del Rey is different. Away goals count as opposed to the Carabao Cup. So in England, so they could have struggled for that away goal. They had players on the pitch that could deliver the goods. And yes, I know that you may question the selection, but even when the changes were made and there's some quality in and around, it didn't look at any point in time like Barcelona was going to score. And so they're going to have to find ways, because these kind of games give you a glimpse into the future or a glimpse into the Barcelona's life without Messi. And it doesn't look good as we see it, which is why I say Bartomeu is a horrible president, but nobody wants to put him on. So
don't worry, Prince Boateng will come to their rescue, save them.
Right?
Yes.
Right?
That was why he was going
Anything is possible. This is football, right? Big T sent in a message, says Chelsea versus Tottenham. Thank God Tottenham was missing their regulars. Take it easy on them. Penalties aren't easy. The post is 24/16. You know, easy. That's what he said. We'll take a break, Lagos. We'll be back on the locker room here on Smooth 98.1.
You have to squint to see.
Tega, the Arsenal fans are coming for you. I knew it. How can you say that about
You'll be alright.
How can you say that?
You'll be alright.
You hear that?
So 9 to
That
10.
is the sound of your money
It's
losing
tonight,
your
it's not like it's
nothing.
tomorrow. It's tonight.
Absolutely
So
nothing.
who are they playing against?
Now,
Them?
this is
What
what
time
happens
is
when
it?
you leave your money lying around
What
idle
time?
and you don't put it to any meaningful work.
Well, don't
My
not
friends,
concentrate
this
at
must
church,
stop today. Why should your
What
money
time
be
is the
relaxing
match?
when you're doing all
Maybe
the
8 or
work?
9.
Do you
Ah, okay,
know
then
that
we're
your
going to
money
rush him.
can work harder than you?
He's such
So
an...
put your
he's
money
such-
to work with the iInvest app and enjoy as
listened
much
the other
as
day,
11 to
and he was
12%
saying, I think
interest
somehow
on your
when
investment.
we
Simply
said Arsenal, I
download
can't
the
remember what he
iInvest
said.
app
You know, I
at
think I was like talking about him not giving the
www.i-investng.com. You will be amazed at how much your money can grow. Friend, will you wake up?
So they're playing
Oh,
so they're going
so
and
you just
against
dey
Man
look your
U, so
phone,
that
dey shine
should
your
be
teeth like this.
interesting. I'm a Man U fan.
Come, let me tell you
Yeah,
better
that's
something.
no.
I don't turn my phone to remote control. Star 569 hash. My brother, money remote oh. Star 569 hash. As I start to use pay attitude, everything turn
why is such an
with just
unusual
phone
day
number.
for a man?
I want
Friday
collect money
night,
from
well.
customer or send person
Such an
money.
unusual
I
day.
use
It's good
him
for
phone
the
number.
fans.
I
It's
want
good for
comot
the
money
fans.
for ATM.
Not
I
good for
use
the
my
fans.
phone number.
Yeah, everything I did on Friday night, you can't watch ball.
Friday night.
Star
Well,
569
it's
hash.
a-
Now
it's
first and
relaxing,
only
but
USSD.
it's not the
We
same
join many
here.
banks with
Yeah,
POS.
It's
ATM,
same
web,
everywhere.
plus
Everybody
percent
goes
of
out on a Friday
percent
night. Nobody
with
wants to be
just
watching
phone
ball.
number. Dial star
apart from
569
that,
hash or
there
download
are too
the
many
Just
things
TV
that
rights.
compete
Pay
with it
attitude.
as well.
Secure,
So just
trendy,
Yeah, there are too many things.
convenient.
Just TV right money.
Your
I can still
grades
watch the
keep
match on
getting
Saturday. Let me
better
do
and
this
better.
night.
I know.
And you keep getting faster and faster on the running track.
Not such a
Yep.
good- not such a
What's
good
your
night.
secret?
It's no
It's some people
secret.
like me that don't go
It's
out on
my
Friday
mom.
night, but Friday
Your
night is a life night that people go out.
I give Albert Nunu every day because it's bursting with smart growth vitamins, minerals, and nutrition he needs for a stronger body and sharp mind. Nunu milk. Grow every
This
day.
guy was
Available in
educated.
stores near you.
Bless them with the face, bless them with the pretty mind.
See, I bless them with the
Like,
face, bless them with the pretty mind too. I
know
may
it's
look like
I-
her, but we're
No,
not
but I
the
think everybody
same.
loves her.
Mind you.
Yeah, generally.
All the things I'm saying,
She
I'll
was on
spit in
Grapevine.
your mind too. Call it mental gymnastics or better, call it mindful. You can find your mind when you let the music find you right here
Studio,
on Smooth
we're back in. We have 3 minutes
98.1.
left. Mics are up.
This is
You know you can touch it because it's Smooth Style on radio. You're listening to the Smooth Breakfast, and as part of Smooth Breakfast, we bring you sports stories inside of the locker room. We'll go through one more story before we take your messages. Now, Monaco have suspended head coach Thierry Henry until a final decision is made on his future. But we understand that Monaco are now in talks with Jardine to replace Henry in a short comeback for the Portuguese boss. Henry has managed just 5 wins in all the competitions in his 3 months in charge of the League One team, who are in relegation zone, 2 points from safety.
Okay, let's not say just 5 wins because people will not know how many match. 20 games, 20, 5 over 20, F9. That's what it's 5.
Okay.
I lie.
I agree.
Still. It's 5 over 20.
Put it that way, it's just harsh.
And I know there are going to be a lot of excuses that Monaco was already struggling before Henry came. The problem is not necessarily with Henry, but with the board that likes selling the players. Oh, the excuses that are coming. I'm just here laughing over my cup of coffee. Ah. Next time we'll show some respect. Maybe he said he wanted to go there and teach him how to play with Pep Guardiola style of football. He doesn't know that Pep Guardiola style of football costs 800 million pounds.
Well, he was still cheered
He
on
does
when
not
he
know.
got the position. He was cheered on. Everybody celebrated him, right?
I don't say everybody. Say
Okay.
some people said, "Come
Minus
me."
Tega.
I was waiting for him in front. You see this camera? I was waiting for him that this particular curve where he's been sacked, and they're using a professional term called suspension because he's not coming back. His replacement has already been contacted. Deals are already being made. So the next thing is, we are sorry. We thank. No, they don't say we are sorry. They say we thank you for all the work you've done.
For your service.
You put in a good effort,
Mm.
and you were so passionate about the club. But unfortunately, the club is moving in a different direction. They generally say things like this. So Thierry Henry, go back to the studio and continue being a touchscreen Guardiola, according to one of my friends.
Wow. Tega.
Yes.
Mary from Satellite Town sent in this message on WhatsApp. It says, should they see what Madrid is suffering with Cristiano Ronaldo, I bet Barca will suffer more without Messi. He continues, says, Henry should go back to coaching school, I beg. Or go and continue as assistant to Martinez in Belgium.
Good choice.
Joker.
Yeah, he should go back and be an assistant. I
No,
thought it was too soon to be
He
a
should
coach.
go back to the studio. That's where he belongs.
Daniel from Ikoyi says, we're going to gun down Gunners today.
Yes, they're coming for you. I think it was Ade who said that they're going to show you tonight.
Okay.
Tega,
Okay.
Arsenal are going to show you tonight.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much, guys. It's been a fun ride on the locker room this morning. It's a feel-good Friday, so we'll be having wonderful conversations in the next hour. That's in 15 minutes. But special thanks to Tega, who's taking us through the locker room and giving us the cynical analysis to some of the stories. And
Thank you,
interesting.
Tega.
Thank you. Find out on Twitter at Tega Supreme, and if you want to get all the latest information about ladies in sports, please follow at LIS International. Coming up next, it's Lagos Talks 981 for Feel Good Friday. We'll cast our minds back to remember the friends that left the memories in our minds, the oldest friends we've had, and how we met them. Thank you. Good morning.